Hey, everybody. Welcome to ProBROknow, the podcast.
Welcome. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. Honestly.
Getting interrupted already. Wait. Yeah, carry on.
Three brothers.
I am a brother.
Yes, me too.
Hey, bro.
Hey, bro.
That's two brothers plus one is three.
You guys make it so hard to do an introduction.
Okay, go. Holy God, wait. This is why we don't let you do introductions for crying out loud.
Middle child
So
syndrome.
let me try this again. There's three of us.
And we're brothers.
We're brothers. We have three opinions. And we have one topic.
That's right.
Am I
What's
good
the
so
topic
far?
yeah.
Did you say the name?
Awesome
Wade?
intro, bro.
I did say the name, but you guys interrupted me. So the topic for today
Sure.
is things we did as kids that our parents did not know about.
That's a lot of stuff. That's a 3-hour podcast.
It's easily a 3-hour podcast, but we're going to keep it down to about half an hour.
Okay.
All right.
I think we can do it.
So let's dive in. Okay, so I brought this topic up because, as you know, we did a lot of things as kids that,
Well, you did.
here we go, that our parents didn't really know about. And we have over the years, typically around Christmas time, we've told them things every year that we
Yes.
did as kids, and
We've shared a lot, yeah.
they're mortified. They pretty much know most things now, I think. There might be a few things they don't know.
Probably.
But we thought at the time that we were getting away with it, and we sometimes did, and sometimes
I think we did.
I think we're probably
I was gonna say,
onto
to be
us.
clear, I think we probably did get away with most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one that I can think of that comes to mind clearly is the lunar eclipse in Ingersoll, where we had said,
Sorry, Chad's just like,
see mouth breathing again?
I'll back up when I breathe.
How's
Yeah.
that deviated septum going?
Exactly. I just walked upstairs and back.
I was just going to say, why are you out
of
of breath? We're sitting at a table for the
winded.
last hour. Resting heartbeat is
Called a
like,
sedentary lifestyle.
My resting heartbeat is 180.
Clear.
Get going.
okay, go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I recall the lunar the lunar eclipse sitting.
Why is this going to become a podcast about how loud I breathe?
Nose breathing.
How loud I breathe.
Didn't you have surgery for that?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we had told mom and dad we wanted to see the lunar eclipse and stay up.
I remember.
Sleep outside on the front porch and stay up all night and watch the eclipse. And she was so excited that we were into science.
Well, into nature, I think.
Yeah. Do you remember, Spence, how old we were actually when that happened? When this was?
So I was at Harris Heights then, so that would have been, I think I started there grade 4. And it was, I think,
I'm thinking like 8, 10, 12, something like that.
so grade 4, 5, I would have been 9.
9.
So 9, 11, 13.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Old enough to know better.
Well, Chad
Well,
was old enough
not-
to know better.
I didn't really know better. At
Yeah,
that
we
time.
thought
We were
that
following our older brother.
we thought our older brother would have guided us, but not so much.
Right. Right.
But we slept on the front porch, and we got up around whatever time it was, 2 or 3 in the morning, and decided to walk down to the
park?
to the Victoria Park, where they had at the time a horse track and sulky carts and tractors.
Yes.
And I remember we started the tractor. It was a push button start tractor in the floor.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
And we drove that around the park. And then we also pulled each other around on the sulky carts around the field. Innocent kind of fun, but still, by today's standards, illegal and trespassing.
To be honest, I'm surprised at how fast I could pull you guys on the sulky cart. Because I remember, I think you were. I don't know if you were both sitting on it or just you, Wade.
I think it was one at a time.
But I remember, grabbing onto the edge of it and just, ripping around there as fast as I could. It was a 1/4-mile track, I think, if I recall.
Well, that's because you have a resting heart rate of 180.
Yeah.
I think I did. I think I went 100 yards and then I quit. That's what
Yeah.
happened.
It wasn't very far, but it was
But it was fast.
it was fast for those 5 seconds.
Exactly.
Well, it's actually surprising how lightweight those things are. I did not. Obviously, that's the first time I'd ever handled one, and it's actually quite lightweight. You can really, really rip on that thing.
Yeah, so I remember doing that. And then at some point, the police showed up. So someone must have called the cops about...
Because there was a tractor. There was a tractor going on that we got in the tractor. Chad, I think what happened is we were playing on the tractor and pretending we were driving it
behind the stables.
And then Chad magically, I think he was pushing the pedals and then realized
I got
what's
it,
this
yeah.
round pedal over here? And it was like, and it was like, oh, and then we were all like, getting started.
Yeah.
Right. And then
Yeah.
Chad did. And it was like this big, at 3 a.m. And obviously the guy that managed the racetrack.
Yeah, he lived right up the top of the hill or whatever.
He was in that big Ford LTD or something
Yeah.
car, and
So he
came
would have
down.
heard
Yeah.
the tractor going, and then we started going around the track with the tractor.
Well, yeah, I think what happened first is that I
Had multiple gears,
I
I
realized
remember.
exactly. I didn't obviously know how to drive a tractor, and it was. I think the gears was like the gear shift was on the side.
No, it was on the floor.
Yeah, it was a big.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, whatever the case, I remember trying to figure it out, and we got it moving forward. And so you guys just kind of hopped on, and we just headed towards the track. But then when we came, the reason I think we were getting caught, ultimately,
I think we saw the car coming down. That's when you veered
did.
to go towards the woods with the thing.
well, and you might be right, but as I recall, we kind of came off the track and came back up to where the woods were, like in behind there, and then I was just kind of, I was ramming it into the woods. Ultimately, it's what I was doing.
Let's go off-roading.
I don't know. 4x4 tractor. You haven't seen that show? But ultimately, yeah, I was. I remember it was just. I think I was just trying to see like if it had enough power that it was actually going to topple the tree or whatever. I mean, I was stupid, a kid, But I think
you were
because we were
14.
doing that, I wasn't 14. But anyways, when I was doing that, I think because we were like revving it and we were right at the bottom of the hill, it was probably echoing. And then that guy could hear it up at his house, and then he came down in the truck.
I just remember seeing it. No, he was in his car, and he came down. I remember it was a brown car, I think.
I don't know.
I recall, like a beige LTD, big car.
Sure. Great memory, Wade.
Oh, this is from you. This
Pontiac Parisian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Had about 85,000 miles on it.
It was a
Big antenna in the back.
yeah.
But I remember we ran into the woods to get away from.
Well, Chad and I
was
Chad
gonna
and I
say,
ran.
like,
Here we
clarify
go.
that, Spence,
Here we
because
go.
I recall exactly what
Yeah,
happened.
you guys ditched me. You took off from me.
No, we said let's get at it. We were smart enough to realize that let's
Yeah,
go.
You totally ran ahead of me and left me.
well, we
listen,
ran away,
You got
yeah.
a guy coming down the hill. He just drove down in his car with his lights on in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
And he's
typical.
ripping into
and
the
he's
stables.
like, he's driving towards us. What are we
Yes.
going to do?
So we weren't going to do what you did, which was stand there and say, "Come on, guys."
No, I ran because I tried to catch up to you because you guys just ditched your middle brother.
Well, you need to work on your running skills because you were not doing so
Did you
well.
see my legs back then? I couldn't run.
Exactly. It was like two sparrows in a 500-meter dash.
Is that a chicken running into the woods? What is that?
That's where they got the script for Forrest Gump. Watching Wade try to run into the woods.
That's right. I kept running and running and running. But we ran into the woods,
Yes.
and I remember the cop car like came right into the woods almost to come after us, and we got away from the police.
Well, Chad and I got
Yes.
away.
Yes.
We all got away.
Well, what happened when you said
Come on, guys,
You
we're
were like
caught.
that- Yeah.
Yeah. The guy. Yeah. That's
you
right. You
stopped?
said that, didn't
the
you?
guy yelled like, "Stop right there!"
But that wasn't the
And then
police.
you
That
did.
was
No.
that was the owner that caught us.
Right, but when he did that,
he didn't catch us.
If I recall, you surrendered, and Spence and I just took off in the woods, like he didn't know we were there.
But I think I did say we're caught, and then when I realized you
Oh, you
guys were
definitely
still.
said that. Yeah.
Oh, I know I said that, but then when you guys kept going, I think I just realized I'm on my own here, and I then
then you
started to
ran
run
with
away
us. Okay.
too. And we ran all the way home, and I remember getting home and setting up the chairs on the front sidewalk and
to
looking
pretend
at
we were there the
and
whole
looking
time.
at the eclipse, and the police came by at some point and stopped us to say, "Have you guys
that's
seen
right.
anything?"
That's right, they did.
in the park because there's some people in the park causing havoc, and we were like, "Oh no, sir,
Officer, no.
we've just been watching the eclipse. We have no idea."
That's true.
That's the story I recall. And
Yeah.
even that next morning, Mom was like, "Oh, my 3 sons and watching the eclipse and enjoying science," and she was so happy and proud of us. And
She was.
If she only knew that before we went on that the trek to the park, we were like, I think we sent Chad with a note to go get cigarettes from the store.
That
We
wasn't
wrote,
it.
like,
I don't think that
wasn't
I
the
don't
same
believe that was
day.
the same day, but that's
I
another
think it
interesting
was.
story, though. But
wasn't it?
no, different. That's a very different day.
was it?
I thought it was the same
No,
day.
because Mom and Dad were out at a party, and that's why we decided to smoke
Do
our
you remember
faces
that, like
off.
back in the day when we come from an era where you had to, like, if you were getting cigarettes and you
Well,
were
you
young,
come from that era. We
well,
don't.
You had to have a note.
we were- yeah.
Like because I remember
Our parents would like write a note
Yeah.
and send us to go get cigarettes.
they would.
And you'd show the guy at the store my parents need some cigarettes, and you'd show this note, like a handwritten note, and that was,
And that
I
was
guess,
okay.
Yeah,
Is that a
That
sign?
was that was official.
yeah. There's a note.
Is that a sign of good parenting? Like when you're sending your children to get cigarettes for you? I don't know.
It's a sign of really poor security. Is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. You used to be able to hand a note and
I
get
remember
cigarettes.
that, yeah. But I think you're right. I do remember the time when specifically we wrote the note so we could get cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I
Benson
went to
and
the store to
Hedges.
get them. Yeah, Benson and Hedges 100.
That's when you-
Menthols, I thought. Weren't they menthol?
Oh, that's even worse.
I think they
That's
were.
when you started your forgery career. Was you started
yes.
forging mom's signature?
Yes,
for,
I was getting cigarettes for all the local kids in
Yes.
grade 7 and 8. Yeah.
Selling cigarettes to the sellies.
To the sellies?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
grade
yeah.
8 sellies.
So so that was another night, and you forged a note, and we went
Yes.
down to the store and got Benson and Hedges 100,
Yep, they were
maybe
they,
menthol.
could be.
I don't know why we even thought they might taste better, but we smoked a whole pack of cigarettes
Yeah.
between the three of us. So
Like an hour.
8 cigarettes each or something in an hour. And I tossed my cookies.
We got so sick.
Oh gosh,
Yeah, you did.
all over the front hedges.
And I remember mom and dad were out. I don't know at what. I mean, I guess I was old enough that I was babysitting, so I was maybe 12 or something at the time. I'm not sure.
Babysitting, yeah.
Well,
Don't hire Chad.
I didn't say it was
Okay, you guys want smokes? What else you want? Great babysitter.
who likes rum and coke?
I got,
Who wants it in their soother?
I got smokes. I got sulky carts. I got tractors.
What do you need? What do you need?
Yeah.
No, they were out at some kind of event, and I think I went to get the smokes, and then we decided we were gonna, sit
Smoke
outside
all of them.
and smoke them all. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was brutal.
And we did.
And like chain smoking too. I remember like just one after.
One
wasn't
after
even like,
the other.
It wasn't even like a casual smoke.
yeah.
It wasn't like
We
talking about. It was just a.
It's true. We literally would use the one that was going out to light the next one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 And we did that until Wade got sick.
But if you remember, didn't you guys get sick or just me?
No.
If you guys remember though, Spence was cool, so he would French inhale his cigarettes.
I don't even know where did I even know how to do that.
Why was it called French inhale?
Like blowing it out and bringing it in your nose.
Demonstrate.
Yeah, like honestly, I do remember this. That somehow, and again, I have no idea.
You're so cool.
I thought it was really
He
cool.
was
back
very
then.
cool at the
I
time.
was. But I remember like smoking, and then I did like this weird like.
No, you
And
had,
then-
your tongue was, you stick your tongue out and it
I don't
would
know.
go up your
but
nose.
then the smoke would sit here and then be like, and I did like the French inhale. And again, where I knew that there was no internet back then. Like I have no idea unless I saw someone doing that.
You must have.
don't
You
know.
thought you were so
I did.
big shooter at the time. It was quite funny.
You were.
And I couldn't do it. I remember trying to emulate you and I could not do the French inhale. And I was so disappointed.
I could. Wade.
No, you couldn't either. You were too busy just falling back on the cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember just like puking my guts out. And then mom and dad coming home and
And we had to lie because there was like spaghetti noodles.
Alphagetti all over the side.
all
of
over
the-
all over the front gardens.
yeah.
Which why didn't we just like get a hose and clean it up? We just left it there. Like, oh,
I wasn't old enough to know about houses. I
we knew
guess.
how to French hail, but not how to use a hose.
yeah, honestly, crazy.
Yeah, I think they actually I think they might have believed us that you were just. I think we just said you weren't feeling good after you ate dinner or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to call them and bother them at the event. I'm kind of reminded about I had this hankering to drive cars before I was allowed to drive cars.
Yes. Didn't we all?
Allegedly. So I remember. I mean, I definitely took a couple different cars out at different times. I remember my dad had bought a Lotta. If you remember the Lotta.
It was a lot of junk.
It was. I think it was like $5,000 at the time. And so he had bought that thing and they'd gone to something. And I think I was 14 or 15. And I thought, I can drive stick. Dad probably wondered why.
I've driven a tractor. I can
the
drive
thing
a
had
Lotta.
I never really switched in second to third very well after I was done with it. But yeah, I remember taking it and taking it to the school dance because they were out all night. And I drove it up to the high school and was just showing everybody. You know this story?
I didn't know you took it to the high school.
I did.
No. Wow.
There was a school dance going on.
How old were you?
No more than 15, but I think I might have been younger than that, to be honest with you.
And no one was like questioning why you're driving a car.
No, my friends all thought it was cool that I had a car. But I'm like, yeah, my parents, they're gone out, blah, 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 But I actually did surprisingly well. I'd never drove a stick before. But I put it back in the exact same spot, and Dad never did know. I think I did tell him years later,
I
but
think you did, yeah.
yeah. I think
But I
so.
remember there was another car though in the driveway when we lived on Canterbury Street in Ingersoll.
Yeah, that was
And
the
was
old,
that the Century?
it was
Buick Century?
That's exactly
No.
what it was. Yeah, it
What's
was.
it? The
It was,
I
it
thought
was
it was the Valiant that you.
no, it was,
No, it was the Buick Century.
yeah.
It was like a beigey, rusty
yeah.
brown
I was
color.
gonna say like a goldy
Yellow,
yellow
yeah.
kind of color Buick Century.
And
yeah.
you backed that up down the driveway, right?
Yeah, so actually, I took it around the block. I took it down. We live by
Water
the park
Street
there.
there,
That's
whatever.
right. I took it down there, and I just did a U-E and came back. But then when I was trying to park it, so Dad wouldn't notice, I accidentally ran into the side of the house.
Tore up the
Yeah, all
siding.
down the siding. I do remember that.
I dented the siding. So
And you said that it was your bicycle.
yeah. So Dad came home and asked what happened to the siding, and I said, "I'm sorry, Dad. I ran into it with my 10-speed. I lost control and ran into the house." And he was so mad about that. But I thought better that than I was in the car.
Did he believe you at the time? Like you peeled
did-
back,
I
you
didn't
peeled
get
back
to
the
the
Did the car have
siding.
any mark on it?
What?
Didn't the car have a mark?
I don't know.
I really don't know. I guess not.
I just think you peeled back the siding like a can opener. Kind
No,
of
no.
peeled
I
it.
just basically
It was like a line, like a
it
dent.
dented it. Yeah, it was like a line in the siding. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
it was a reasonable explanation that it was my 10-speed. And apparently he bought it. I do apologize, Dad. Sorry, Dad.
It wasn't his bike.
Yes, if I didn't tell you that before, it was me. Do you guys remember rolling up, like before getting the notes for the cigarettes, but
Yes,
actually just rolling paper and treating it as if it was cigarettes?
I do.
Yeah.
We had a real infatuation with,
Fire.
yeah,
It's sort of true.
with cigarettes and smoking. Yeah, but how bad is that? We used to roll up white paper and smoke it.
Line paper
Yeah,
and make like a big, long cigarette.
Yeah.
I remember lighting it though, and it would start going and then inhaling, but the flame
It
like
would come out. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
basically inhaling a flame.
It was,
and then
it
like
was hot as
cough.
hell, like on
Oh,
your throat.
it was so
Yeah,
hot.
It was bad.
Yeah, I burned the hell out of my
why did we
lungs.
do that? It wasn't fun.
No.
I was missing carcinogens in my life. I don't know.
Oh God, imagine the stuff we
so
inhaled.
gross. Yeah.
It was
Yeah, I don't
really
know.
gross.
I don't know what it was about. I mean, do kids in general have a infatuation with like fire and matches? Like, remember making all those little rockets and with the 3 matches and the tinfoil?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Those were cool.
The 3-legged matches.
Yeah.
yeah, they were kind of fun. Explain that one for those that probably tell all our,
Yeah.
our
Yeah,
listeners
tell
how
all
to
our-
do it.
I was going to say, we really want to tell a whole bunch of little kids now how to
Yeah.
do that. No, you just would take like 3 matchsticks and you would just wrap tinfoil around the top of just where the match heads were, nice and tight.
They weren't the sticks though. They were the
No,
bendy
they were
ones.
like
right?
they were
like a
flexible.
match.
blend- yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You would put the 3 together. You put the tinfoil over the top, just a small piece of tinfoil.
Really tight.
Yeah, so that the air couldn't get out, and you would cover down, part of the way down the stick of the match, but not too far down.
Right.
And then you would sort of bend the legs out to make the tripod, for it to launch from, and you'd set on the ground and light the middle. You'd light one of the legs, and when it got to the point where it would light the sulfur on the matches, because it had nowhere to go, it would
shot it
shoot
up.
out the bottom, and they'd fly like
Basically launch like a rocket.
Sometimes you could get like 6-8 feet out of one of them. It was kind of cool.
I remember
Well,
though
let's do
doing
let's
that.
do it. You got any matches?
Well, do you remember doing that, Chad? I do remember this, where we would get the matches, and there was a couple times trying to put the tinfoil around the top that the matches, the heads kind of rubbed against each other, and then they went off before we were done. I remember burning
No,
my fingers.
I don't remember that.
I do remember that.
Oh,
on
I
matches.
remember burning my fingers on a lighter. Do you remember doing that? We used
Well, I
to
don't
take
remember you burning your fingers.
we used to
but-
take a lighter,
Yeah.
and if you threw them on the concrete, they would actually flame out. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah. And I remember doing that, and I picked one up after it was on fire, and all the melted plastic went like all over my hand. And it was like stuck there, and I couldn't get it off because it was burning a lot.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the stuff we did.
I don't know if I should tell this story or not, but you were just talking about burning plastic and fire. Do you know what that reminds me of?
Oh, pick a story, Chad. You were
No.
You were
I'm
quite the
thinking about-
arsonist.
I'm thinking about the issue. Come on now. Think about the issue of the, would gasoline light on top of fire or on top of water? Sorry.
Yes.
I do remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's
No, you got to tell it now.
I mean, I can't tell.
The statute of limitations is
Is
over.
it over?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
over. You're fine.
Yeah, again, we were living in that same place. So I was, somewhere between 12 and 14. I don't really know. And I don't even know. I don't know why we were out. It was early in the morning. I remember. Wade. I remember you. Were you there also?
No,
Spencer?
I was there. I don't think I was
we're all
right there.
I
don't
thought
think
we were
he
all
was.
there.
Maybe.
I was the good kid. I probably was at home.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, somehow or other, I don't know how, we had a gas can, like a 5-gallon gas can, and it had fuel in it. And we were down at the park, and somehow we had this crazy idea of, does gas burn on water? Like if you poured it in the creek, would it wouldn't light on fire? And we were kind of debating it, as I recall, just whether or not it would light on fire.
Really, it was because we were into science.
Yes. Yes. It was all
We were just
it was an
trying to
experiment.
It was.
It was an experiment.
And so we dumped,
A 5-gallon.
no, it wasn't,
There was a lot.
It wasn't 5 gallons, but there was a good amount of fuel in it. And I mean, I think about it now. I mean, I'm a big fisherman now, and I think about, the damage to the river and all that. And I feel bad I did that, but at the time, I guess I just didn't know. But anyways, we did it, and we threw something into the
When you
creek.
say we,
He means him.
yeah. I. Maybe say I instead of we.
Yeah.
Well, I don't honestly know.
I believe
Well,
the rest of us were just
I
observing.
was just watching my older brother, not knowing what he was doing.
learning.
Here we go.
You're like, watch this, Spence.
Yeah, that's not how I remember it.
Well,
But at any rate, we dumped the gas in there,
Aye.
and yes. Come on.
I was at home.
yes.
Yes.
Anyways, so you
Anyways,
dumped the gas.
I apparently dumped the gas into the creek, and then we lit it on fire. And I'm going to say that because I honestly don't know if I did or you did or what happened. But anyways, we threw a match or something down there, and the whole, big stretch of like 50 feet or something of the creek just
Caught
went-
fire.
Oh yeah, it was
It was
an inferno. It was high.
yeah, and I was like, oh shit, this was a really bad idea. And then I was like, we need, I think we said like, we got to get out of here kind of thing. And so I still had the 5-gallon gas can.
Which you threw.
Right. It was sitting there beside us. I'm like, get rid of the evidence kind of thing. And so I threw
You
it.
throw it in the rivers and floated down.
Yeah, I did. I think I threw
Nobody will find this if I throw it in the river.
I threw it in the river. And then of course the flames got inside of it, and it went, remember? It went, and the thing blew apart, and then a huge flame went flying up to the sky. I was like, holy crap, this is not good.
And then you have to picture the bank of the river, of the creek.
The grass.
Yeah.
was all this like dried grass from, it was
Twigs
really
and-
high grass.
yeah.
It was then
Yeah.
like pushed over.
Yeah.
And
was
then
horrible.
the flames caught the sides of the bank. And then the banks had this huge, flames basically engulfing all the grass.
Yeah,
And
that
that's
was-
when we took off. And then I think fire trucks came, and
No, they did not.
I think they did.
No, they did not. I don't think so.
Well, the sides of the bank were burned up.
I agree that it was burned up, but I don't think there was any, fire rescue or anything like that going on.
So, Chad, do mom and dad know that story? Because they do now.
Well, they definitely are going to know
Yeah.
when they see this podcast. I honestly don't know if we've ever told them that story. And, I wish you had never told me to do it, honestly, Wade. But,
From home.
between you and you, Spence, weren't you carrying the matches? As I recall.
Yeah, that was me.
Someone lit dinky cars on fire in the backyard of Wellington too.
Well, we used to do that. Yeah, we would put
played, like-
airplane glue.
We played a Deuce of Hat. Was it airplane glue?
Yeah, we put airplane glue
And lit it on fire?
because it would just sort of stay on fire.
Yeah. It was like Dukes of Hazzard
It was
playing.
a great idea. Wade.
Playing
Thank you
games.
for that.
That was in your huffing phase.
Yeah. When I was huffing 20-pound white paper, in cigarette form.
It's amazing we're alive, to be honest. But
I think fortunately, I do think we've shared a lot of these stories. There might be a couple that were in here that we didn't share before. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some stuff for you, Spence, and
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I was the good one.
hey, were you?
were not
Wait
the
a
good
second.
one.
Were you with me? I think you were. Were you with me when we snuck out? We camped out in Wellington in the tent. It was. I think it was you and I and
Richie.
Richie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was it.
and we went downtown London. So we were the people that
downtown
everyone.
Ingersoll.
Sorry, Ingersoll. We were the ones that people were afraid of. I guess at the time we were young, and we just kind of toured downtown Ingersoll, and the police came flying up Main Street and caught us. And I went and hid under the.
Sorry, why were they after you? Because you were
We were just out
we were
loitering at 5 a.m. or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was like
Calling.
3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and we're out just wandering downtown. So this cop saw us and sped up to catch up to us. And there was I think it was a shoe store or furniture store.
Yeah,
There
it was
was
a
these
clothing
ledges,
store, yeah.
these ledges that kind of went close to the ground, and I just kind of scooted underneath those ledges to try to hide myself. And the cop saw me and called me out. I remember his exact words. He said, "What in pray tell are you doing out here?" And I remember thinking, what does pray tell mean at the time? But he said, you
We
have
had our
exactly.
bikes too, I think. Didn't we have bikes?
No, we ran. I think he said to us, oh, maybe we had our bikes.
He asked where we lived.
Yeah. And he basically said, you have 5 minutes to get home and I'm going to drive by your house and check. And we booted it.
I bet.
home. And he did come by to check that we were back there again.
You know what was really lame as a game, and I don't know why we thought this was so much fun as kids, was playing Nicky Nicky Nine Door. You know, when you just knock on somebody's door and then then run. Like that was really the ultimate burn. Some guy, oh, those darn kids playing that game again.
If it wasn't for your
I
meddling
used to love
kids.
that game though.
Yeah, but why though? Why is that so?
Because it was like, it got the adrenaline going because you were like scared that someone was going to come out and
You're gonna get
chase
caught,
you.
yeah.
And so you'd knock, and then as you're running, you're just like, I remember laughing my head off and running, but being scared and like the adrenaline and the rush of it all. I don't
Do you
know.
think like the homeowners that were, having somebody knock on the door, do you think they were getting that ticked off, or they just knew it was us doing that and said, whatever?
Oh, it probably upset. It would upset me if someone did it in my house.
I remember doing it, like we did it a couple of times, like the same house for like, I don't even know why, to make it that much more.
Now, when you say we, you mean you?
Why I did it with my friends as well. I know I did it with you guys, but you taught me so well.
I just went along with it.
I showed my friends.
Yeah,
what
you-
my
you
older
learned.
brothers taught me. Yeah. Yeah.
What about ordering pizzas to your neighbors? Did you ever do that?
No.
No,
I remember
never
doing
did that.
prank phone calls though.
Oh yeah.
We were the always
We
the ones
always
doing
did prank
that.
phone calls. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just dialing any number.
It's so like, how did my kids turn out like they did? That's what I want to know. Cause I certainly was not a good influence at that age. But yeah, the phone calls. Yeah, I do remember. But I mean, I guess this goes in line with the prank phone calls. But I remember ordering pizza when we lived on Wellington Street.
Yep.
The people lived right beside us. I
you
seem to
ordered
recall me
pizza?
and my buddy Jeff, he'd be over and we would order pizzas to their house because we could watch out of the window, like from behind the curtain on our side. And we thought it was the funniest thing when the pizza driver would show up and you see them, they're like shaking their heads and he's like, look, what's going on? What is this? And we thought that was so funny. I don't know why, but
What were the other prank phone calls you used to make?
I honestly,
You probably can't even talk about it.
no, I truthfully don't recall.
Oh,
You know,
I don't
know,
recall.
I remember we made prank phone calls, but I really don't know what they were. It was all like stupid, harmless stuff, like is your refrigerator running? You know, those kind of crazy things. But other than
Right.
ordering the pizzas, I honestly don't know. I'm sure we did, but we used to call that
Schultz Antique Lighting and Brass.
Schultz Antique Lighting and Brass. Remember that store? Yeah.
I do. And I think that was so dumb because we would just call that guy just because
Over
we
and
thought it
over.
was just because we liked the way he answered the phone.
I'm starting to realize that actually I was the good one.
Jesus.
Honestly.
That's all right. You've made up for it now. There,
Yeah.
don't worry about it. But no, I don't. I wish I could think of some stuff for you. But you were young. You were like you said. You might have been 8 or 9 years old at the time we're talking about. So I guess you knew better.
I remember you doing your paper route and not wanting to walk, and you found a bicycle, then decided to ride the bicycle, right, for your paper route,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Yes.
Yeah. And then didn't you ghost ride it down the hill or something?
We did.
We
ghost
did.
rode it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We allegedly might have let it go at the top of a large hill
Yeah.
and see if it would make it all the way to the
I
bottom.
remember
did it?
how far up you could get a bike to go ghost riding?
Huge.
It
We
was
did
like
all-
a competition.
We did it all the time.
Yeah. It was actually fun.
We actually did that as competition.
Yeah. Who could get their bike to go furthest?
Yeah. Just and our bikes were damaged
I
like,
know.
big time.
Were they even your bikes?
No.
No, they were our
There are
bikes.
bikes for the next hour, and then we ghost rided them down the hill and just went the other way.
Then they were property of
This
the
is
London
why we had
Police.
to move from Ingersoll.
That's right.
We were kind of forced out.
Right now, there's a whole bunch of retired police officers saying, "Damn it, I knew it was
I knew it was those
I knew it was
Macomb
those
boys.
Macomb boys.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I don't think so.
Anyway, this is kind of funny to revisit some of those.
It was.
You know, looking back at it, probably not the best things that we did.
Well, living in a small town, like, what are you supposed to do? Right? You got to find your own excitement.
It's a good way to justify it,
Well,
I guess.
I'm not sure that lighting creeks on fire was part of that. But
Yeah. There was a lot of things we shouldn't have done.
yes.
But hey, we survived and they make good memories. And we're just glad that our own kids didn't do that stuff. Or at least we don't know.
Yes. I am thankful that I learned my lesson and learned better and became a better human being. But at the time, like you said, you're a young kid, you're experimenting or whatever, you're bored, there's nothing to do. I mean, what else are you going to do at 4 a.m. on the night of an eclipse? I mean, than drive a tractor.
So the real question is when we get a bit older, I guess, are our kids going to tell us everything they did that we didn't know about? Or do we already know?
In my case, I think I'm going to be really bored with the stories because somehow or other, they
Our
came
kids
out,
are so much better than
they
we
came
were.
out amazing.
Yeah.
They came out amazing. And I'm so thankful that they didn't, but maybe I learned enough lessons for all of them, you know.
Yeah, probably did.
Anyway,
Well, good topic, bro.
yeah, it was
That
fun
was
to.
good. I feel a little bit guilty now, though, that
Well, you'll be getting a call from the police. So.
probably. Probably.
Thanks, Wade,
Yeah, no,
for
thank
bringing
you.
it up.
Thanks
and,
for airing out all my childhood, laundry. Mom and Dad, if you're watching and you didn't know these stories,
now you do.
now you do.
What do you mean if they're watching? I hope they're watching. We need
Well,
someone
they're
to
not
watch
watching
this.
right now, but they might be
We
watching.
need someone to watch this podcast. All right. Thanks,
Anyways,
guys.
thanks, guys.
See you next week.
It was a pleasure.